Wow, it's Wulzy. Right, let's do a building challenge. I'm thinking we do orbs only, which sounds impossible, or maybe it doesn't, I'll explain why. If I have no obstacles, this is going to be a big challenge. That's probably what you're thinking right from the offset, right? Because if I don't have any obstacles, how am I going to force the player to actually do something, right? You can just sit on the ground. Now, what I'm thinking is if you have a blue orb here, and then you have like a red orb or something, if you hit the ground from the other side, you die. I just need to figure out a way to get the cube to be forced to be the other gravity so that this ground becomes an actual obstacle without actually placing any obstacles. And the only thing I can think of, this is extremely unethical. Please don't follow my footsteps here. Levels have been unrated before because of this, but if we just search crash trigger and just get one from someone else's level, they have one right here. It's this move NA thing. It's got a bunch of impossible values. If I just add that to my custom objects, kind of unethical. I apologize. I should not be doing this as a moderator of GD, but if I place this crash trigger and replace it from the spawn trigger that it was in the original level to a touch trigger, take that group off, I can then technically force the player to hit orb. Otherwise, the game will cry. Wow, my level actually saved. That's actually kind of incredible. Wait. It didn't, though. Dang it. That's the scary thing about working with crash triggers. The game does not autosave. You can very easily lose a lot of progress by misusing these, so you just gotta be careful. It's gonna do that, just so it's high enough that you can't jump over it. Get rid of the group. Touch trigger. Cool. But we are gonna make a spawn-triggered version. Let's just put this on 2 and then make it spawn-triggered. We've obviously reserved 1 for invisible with that alpha trigger, but we're gonna have not a spawn trigger, but a toggle trigger right here, which is kind of going to force us to go certain directions in the level because we edit the special, we add 2 here and activate it. So whenever you touch this orb in any way, if I just go up here and then click this one, I'm going to save the level first. But if I just click there, boom, the game crashes. So yeah, that's a thing. Just gonna delete that for now, add it as a custom object. We're gonna figure out some cool visuals for this level first off. I wanna create a pretty cool depth effect, just with a couple of orbs. We're gonna put a center point. I like to use a circle, some people like to use an X, some people like to use a triangle, some people, you can use whatever block you want as a center, okay? It really doesn't matter. We're gonna use group 3 for it. We're gonna lock it to the X axis using a move trigger. And then we're gonna give these a group, which is gonna be number 4, and set up a follow trigger pretty much immediately as we go into the level. So it's on us, right? This is like right on our position. We can then set up group 4, which is the bunch of orbs to follow the little circle 3. Now I gotta figure this out because I can't remember how you change the X mod to make this effect. Should be fine. Oh no, I was wrong. Dang it. These are the biggest ones. They want to move the most. There we go. So they're kind of... No, I forgot. Dang it. Okay, GD, please tell me that you didn't save that. You piece of... Alright, we're back. We set up the follow trigger, making sure that 4 isn't locking to the X-axis, because I'll show you what happens if they do that. So if you add both groups, they kind of just get... No! Stop! Okay, we're just gonna leave it like that. Then we are going to take this object, put it on editor layer 2 where nothing else can touch it, and give it group parent, which will mean that any group activities, like all of this, it'll be centered around this point instead of the calculated center like normal if there's no group parent, right? So we're gonna make a bunch of copies of these. So we're gonna go on editor layer 3, and now we will have the center over here. We're gonna scale down by like 0.2, I guess, and then mini space down, give a new group number 5.
Just keep doing that. So mini block down and then scale down by 0.2.
Okay, we're gonna stop right there. So you see it's kind of more bunched up on the left than the right. We need to set up a bunch of follow triggers, but first we're gonna go to editor layer number 3 and get rid of all those extra centers, because if you have more than one, it breaks the center. You can only have 1 in this follow group ID box, which is always gonna be number 3. For every group we increase on the target, we're gonna increase by 0.2, and this is gonna create a pretty interesting effect on the orbs where it kind of follows the dot at different speeds. And this is called a parallax effect. We're using a parallax on orbs. You see right there, it's kind of following the player. That's because the orb is locked to me. We're then going to change the opacity of these orbs so it's a bit less obnoxious. At this point, I'm going to get out of non-preview mode. Let's go to alpha trigger. I think we put number 9, and then we're just going to go like 0.25, maybe a bit more. We want this to actually be visible. Yeah, here we go. So we have a bunch of these orbs. We're going to have a crush trigger at the end. Kind of goofy. We are going to move them off one by one. So let's just go like minus 300, 2 seconds, and then something that has like a long intro time. I'm gonna space these out a little bit more just so it exits layer by layer. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And then move this to the very beginning. So it's gonna parallax for a bit and then start shifting off. And then the crash trigger is gonna be like right over here, just to make sure you actually get off the floor. We also got to get rid of that visibility on the center here. Hopefully that's going to make it a bit more magic. I'm going to save and exit, then enter, and let's just see. So we have these moving blocks. I'm going to cheat and turn off particles because it looks cooler personally. There we go. We have a bunch of circles, then the shift, and then we're going to be in the air. Finally, we're making some progress. This level has a lot of orbs. I'm just going to use cycles. Even though it's copyrighted, I'm just going to be so cool that it doesn't even matter. Or I could just be a gangster and just turn off the music. So my first thought is we can have a whole section with these floating orbs. Triggers are allowed because they're not visible. We could do something like that. We can just delete a few just so it kind of fades on. Stand it a little bit further down to the left. So we can have this whole area where we're kind of just floating. Let's not make this go on for too long, but I want to have whole sections missing. Like I can just make shapes here, maybe a bit smaller at a time. It's going to be kind of ambitious, but I want to put crash triggers here. Not the best way, but the easiest. And then... Oh, wait. I'm gonna change this. We don't even need the toggle trigger that we made that we were gonna use. We can just straight up delete these and then grab some orbs. Let's just grab some at random. We can just take like selections. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. And we're gonna put these on a new group. So number 10. Then move them to editor layer number 5. And then go back and grab some that didn't get grouped. So like right here. Should be fine. Let's just give that 11. Editor layer number 5. So it's all bunched up over there. We can tell which ones have groups just by looking because of the layers. Then we just take what's left and put those on the remaining group 13. And then we go back through. So these are going to have different combinations of groups each. We selected a big amount there, but you see how it's 10, 11, 12, and 13. Like we're getting some nice combinations here. We're going to move these back to 0. Just a cool grouping technique. I like to do this a lot with like saving groups mainly, because instead of using 10 different groups, for example, I can just combine a bunch of unique combinations here. And with 8 groups, I'm moving as much as like 16 could, right? Then we make move triggers for these that kind of flocks them apart. So then you're left just to fall. This is genius. And these are going to be spawn triggered. We can put them anywhere in the level. It really doesn't matter. Starting with 10, let's just put a cool move. It doesn't really matter what the movement is. It just needs to look cool. Spawn trigger that. You only need it once. You don't even need to multi-trigger it. We can literally just put like 200, 200, you know, just mix up the minuses and positives. Big and different numbers. You have to change them to a point where they're more than likely going to get off the screen. Okay, 17. Then we give these a group, which is going to be 18, I believe. Yep. And then all we have to do is slap toggle triggers inside. Don't know how big. We'll just scale hack it, I guess. But we just activate 18, right? Let's have a look here. So hopefully when we click this, boom, all the orbs move. You can live for a bit, but you can't really survive. We can just copy paste these whole sections because it really does not matter. Oh, that's cool. I've accidentally just made some amazing gameplay. We have to go up this way and then kind of just bounce in between. Yo, this is awesome. So if I just put another bridge by taking a bunch of these down here, that's also really cool. And then how about we have a red orb that you're pretty much forced to hit? Not that big because then I can't force it. I'll show you how I'll do this. Here we go. Red orb. Boom. This is what's precarious about it, okay? We have to nab this crash trigger right here. Let's just put that on my custom objects. Again, please don't use these in like actual levels that you intend to be good and ethical. I think this is a fine way to do this. If I do that, then you're kind of forced to hit the orb because this is the only trajectory that you would survive. And then just string them to the end. Am I a genius? Probably not. Does it work? Yes. So we're going to give these groups 19. Okay, so we rotate those. And then we're going to create a custom background. Woohoo! Should be pretty simple. All I need is a couple of low opacity orbs that use black. You see, this is literally a color channel, black. I can just copy the values, paste them onto the orb, and make it ginormous. So now we have a giant black circle. We can put that on like the bottom layer of everything ever. Don't fade, don't enter. And that can lock to the player. It's going to make another set so it can move on the y-axis too. Because I know we already have a lock to x-axis group, but this one's cooler. There he is. And it's obviously active at the moment. We want to turn that off and make it fade on, which is another reason why I made another group. So we have 20, which is going to be toggled off immediately. And it's going to be toggled on around about here, like that. And it will fade on at that point too. No. We need to make sure we're actually in the air first. Then it can fade on. I'm going to change the background here too, because I feel funky. Copy the background color, please, for the ground. Nice. Orb. Doesn't fade on because we didn't make it invisible in the first place, dude. Let's go. Woohoo! There he is. Make this a 0.2. And then we grab it, and then we just start gradually. Oh, it's all the way over there. And I turned off slide limit, dude. Come on. Stop trolling me. Okay, so we have to zoom in, copy paste, then scale, and then go grab the slider, which is all the way over there. Okay, we've reached trust levels with the scale bar now. There we go. Let's see what it looks like when it fades in. It should just be a black circle that's heavier in the center. It is. Let's go. This is awesome. Oh, that was close. Oh, you go down. Okay, it's fine. You can touch them, which makes it a nice difficulty level, I think. Oh, no. Wait, when was the last time I saved? No, don't do this to me. I swear, Orbs, if you haven't saved anything